In the grand, circular council chamber of the Galactic Council, a bustling energy filled the air as representatives from various alien civilizations gathered. Holograms flickered through the space, displaying constantly updated data from the galaxy's diverse sectors. At the heart of the chamber stood a tall, slender figure, Ambassador Tark of the Zyklon Arcs. His exoskeleton gleamed softly in the ambient light as he conversed with a nearby delegate. Watching silently from the sidelines was a human representative, Commander Johannes Dreyer, his sharp eyes surveying the assembled species. "Tark, I urge caution," said Leah, an ambassador from the peaceful planet Jolanda. Her voice was gentle, yet carried an urgent edge. "They're different from other young races. Their technology, especially their weapons, is disturbingly advanced." Tark clicked his mandibles in displeasure. "Advanced, perhaps, but they lack the centuries of strategic wisdom we possess. Their society is still fragmented, not as unified as ours. This fear is overstated." Dreyer stepped closer, his expression grave. "I couldn't help overhearing your discussion. It's true we have our divisions, but underestimating us would be a mistake. We didn't rise to the stars by sitting idle." Leon nodded thoughtfully at Dreyer. "And yet, Commander, isn't it also true your people value peace? Why, then, such formidable weapons?" Dreyer's jaw tightened, his resolve clear. "History has taught us a harsh lesson. You must be prepared. We build, yes, but we also protect." The tension eased slightly as the council's chair, a revered entity known as Elder Zeron, ascended the central podium. "Esteemed delegates," Zeron began, his voice resonating through translators at every seat. "We convene today amid rumors of war and conquest tied to the human race. I implore all to honor the treaties we forged. Ignite no conflicts that could consume us all." Tark rose, addressing the elder with respect. "My collective sees this as a matter of security. Human expansion is unchecked and nearing our borders. We must proactively defend our interests." Dreyer stood in response, his tone firm yet measured. "Ambassador Tark, humanity seeks no conflict with Arcs or anyone else. But make no mistake, we'll defend ourselves if provoked. The power of our weapons is no secret, nor is our desire to avoid using them." Murmurs rippled through the chamber as delegates conferred. Zeron raised a hand, commanding silence. "This council decrees that all members refrain from unilateral actions that could lead to violence. The human race is to be observed, not provoked." As the session ended, Dreyer and Tark exchanged a long, weighted glance. "A word of warning, Tark," Dreyer said quietly as the hall emptied. "It's not our weapons you should fear. It's what happens when you corner a desperate man with nothing left to lose." Tark snorted dismissively. "Or what happens when you underestimate your foe? We shall see, Commander. We shall see." The delegates dispersed, but the tension lingered, thick and palpable. Beyond the chamber, the stars glittered coldly, indifferent to the brewing storm. Dreyer walked away, his mind flooded with possible scenarios, each unfolding potential horrors of what might come of words failed and weapons spoke. The twin suns of Wallanos cast a warm glow through the planet's thin atmosphere, illuminating a burgeoning human colony. The settlement, a cluster of modular habitats surrounded by newly erected defenses, hummed with activity as colonists went about their tasks. Among them, Commander Johannes Dreyer inspected the perimeter with a vigilant eye, ever aware of the dangers lurking beyond the horizon. At the settlement's edge, children played within the safety of a communal plaza, their laughter a stark contrast to the tension gripping their elders. Dreyer paused, a faint smile tugging at his lips. It was a fleeting reminder of what they all fought to protect. Unseen by the colonists, high above their tranquil outpost, a cloaked Arxian exploration vessel hovered silently. Inside, Ambassador Tark observed the humans through advanced sensors, intrigued by their rapid adaptation to such a harsh environment. "Commander," his tactical officer interrupted, "initial scans suggest their technology is primarily defensive. There's little here posing an immediate threat to our forces." Tark nodded, eyes fixed on the displays. "Keep monitoring. I want to know everything about their capabilities." His gaze shifted to a screen focusing on the children. approached that central gathering area. Tarek studied the children, fascinated by their carefree play and obliviousness. They seemed so busy, so unaware, he mused. Prepare a ground team. We need samples, soil flora. He paused, considering the implications. Non-invasive scans of these young ones, too. I want to understand their biology. Back on the surface, Dryer's communicator buzzed. He tapped it, hearing the urgent report from the colony's sensor technician. Commander, we detected anomalies in the upper atmosphere. It could be a cloaked ship. Red alert. Dryer ordered without hesitation. Evacuate non-essential personnel to the shelters. I'll handle external defenses. As alarms blared, the colonists moved swiftly yet orderly, trained for such emergencies. Dryer grabbed his weapon and headed to the command center, his mind racing with strategies. In orbit, Tarek's team prepared for a silent descent. Remember, we're here to observe and gather, not confront, Tarek reminded them. But his order would soon spark unforeseen consequences. The Arxian team landed near the settlement's edge, their advance cloaking flickering faintly. One young, inexperienced explorer strayed too close to where the children played. A small, curious girl noticed a strange shimmer in the air, a distortion from the imperfect cloak, and ventured nearer. In a panic, the explorer triggered a defensive pulse. It wasn't meant to harm, but it was strong enough to knock the girl down, scraping her knees and drawing blood. Her scream shattered the laughter. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Dryer, mid-preparation, spun toward the sound, his heart sinking as he saw the injured girl and the faint silhouette of the fleeing explorer. Tarek, he muttered, his earlier warning ignored. You've just made the gravest mistake of your life. As the Arxian ship withdrew, sirens wailed across the colony. Dryer scooped up the frightened girl, his resolve hardening. The encounter's news spread like wildfire, fueling fear and anger among the colonists. After ensuring the girl's safety, Commander Johannes Dryer faced the overwhelming task of managing the crisis. In the colony's makeshift council chamber, he called an emergency meeting with senior officers and community leaders. The room buzzed with anxious murmurs as all awaited his address. Ladies and gentlemen, Dryer began, his voice steady despite the chaos. Today's incident marks a critical turning point. An Arxian explorer injured one of our girls. A clear act of aggression. The colony's doctor, Dr. Helene Reuter, interjected. The girl's stable, Johannes. She'll recover physically, but we must carefully consider our next steps. Dryer nodded appreciatively. Thank you, Helene. Her recovery is our priority, but we must also respond strategically. We can't let this violation go unanswered. Our security team captured partial footage of the explorer, enough to confirm it was Arxian. The room erupted in hushed debates, many voicing fears of escalating conflict. Dryer raised his hands for calm. I understand the concerns, but we're far from helpless. This settlement was designed with defense in mind, and our contingency plans are ready. As Dryer detailed the defenses, surveillance drones, reinforced patrols, the colony's communication expert received a high-priority signal. Commander, incoming message from Earth Command. Put on the main screen. Dryer ordered. Admiral Sarastin's stern face appeared, her gaze piercing. Commander Dryer, we received your preliminary report. Earth Command takes this incident gravely and authorizes a tactical response. You have permission to use necessary force to secure the colony. Understood, Admiral, Dryer replied solemnly. We'll proceed with caution. After the transmission ended, he addressed the room. We have Earth support. I propose a dual strategy. Bolster our defenses and prepare for a potential strike. If the Arxians don't stand down, I need all units on high alert. The meeting continued with logistics, medical preparations, and evacuation plans. Outside, life in the colony strove for normalcy. Parents hugged their children tighter. Neighbors shared words of solace. As night fell, Dryer stood alone under the stars, the weight of command heavier than ever. His thoughts drifted to the injured girl, whose innocent curiosity had sparked such dire consequences. He clenched his fists, determined to protect his people at all costs. Unbeknownst to the colonists, an Arxian scout lingered in the shadows, observing. The explorer's report would soon reach Tarek, shaping his next move, a move he'd underestimate, blind to humanity's full resolve.